Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome and welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We're continuing our vintage quilt upcycling series. And today I have such a fun project for you. We're going to turn this one Dresden plate into 4 placemats to make your table look custom and crafty. If you want to make these with me, gather your supplies. You're going to need a vintage quilt block. Your choosing. I chose the Dresden plate, but really I think any quilt block would probably work. Just kind of test it out and decide once we get further into the project today, so you can decide if it would work for your placemats in your home. You're also going to need some fabric, and definitely make sure that you have a fabric that matches your vintage quilt block, of course. You're also going to need some pretty sturdy interfacing, obviously a sewing machine, some thread, and all of the basic supplies. The one other item that I'm using today that you may not have on hand is a 12-inch circle ruler. So make sure you gather all of those things up and join me at the cutting table. All right, so a lot of this I already have cut out, and I just need to cut out a piece of fabric to go with my circle ruler at this point. So I'm just going to kind of rough cut out a square out of the same fabric that I'm using for my placemats. And this is just a tone-on-tone white fabric, so nothing too special there. Now, the other thing you're going to need is some interfacing, and I have my interfacing cut. Now, my interfacing, I cut it at 15 by 20 inches. That's a little bigger than the standard placemat size. I did want them just a little bigger just because I feel like sometimes I'm trying to squish everything on there and I want to protect my tabletop. That's the whole point of a placemat, right? All right, so for the vintage quilt block, what you're going to need is a vintage quilt block, some fabric that is the same, or it can honestly be different. If you have like a muslin or something you want to use, you can use that as well, and a little bit of your interfacing. What we're going to do is we're going to take our circle ruler and we're going to place it on our Dresden block. And we're going to try our best to find a spot where it lines up pretty well with a couple of the Dresdens that are from on the left and right, and the top and the bottom, just on those seams. And now when you're working with vintage quilts, a lot of times you're not going to have a perfect match just because it's been washed, it's been used, shrinks, stretches, all of that good stuff. So I'm just going to do the best I can. Now you have 2 choices here. If you are confident with your cutting, you could go ahead and use your rotary cutter and cut right around this circle ruler, because it is a circle ruler and it's a really thick acrylic ruler, and you could definitely do that. If not, you can use your chalk pencil and just go around like I am right here. And then you will also have a chalk line on your block to go with as you're cutting out your block. Now I am going to go ahead and use my rotary cutter to cut around this circle ruler. Yes, you can cut a circle with a rotary cutter. Just hold it tight against this acrylic and you'll just cut right around. Now, if I would have been smart, I would have gotten out my rotating cutting mat, and then I would have been able to just cut right around and turn it as I went, but I didn't think about that till just now. All right, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just looking for a pretty close to circular pattern. All right, so now that we have our circle cut out, we're going to layer and make our little sandwich for the sewing machine. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the fabric and the interfacing, we're just going to layer those right on top. Now this should be right sides together. So my vintage quilt block is facing down, my background fabric is facing up, and my interfacing is this last layer right here. That way when I flip it, the interfacing will be on the inside of this little pocket that I'm creating. Let me get some pins and pin this into place. I don't want this shifting when I go to sew it on the machine, so I'm definitely going to add some pins all the way around the circle. And I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, she's pinning. I know, it's a very rare occurrence, but it does happen from time to time. Sometimes pins are your best friend. Okay, let's go to the sewing machine and sew this up, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to get these placemats together lickety-split. All right, so at the sewing machine, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew a seam just like I would when I'm quilting. I'm going to go 1/4 inch in from the outside edge of this circle, and I'm going to sew a seam all the way around the block. And this is just a straight stitch. Now at this point, we can take all of those pins out, and then we will trim it down, and I'll show you how we're going to flip these out. I'm just trimming it right along the quilt block that I cut out earlier. This doesn't need to be exact, right? But it does need, you want it to be close. All right, and now we're gonna go back to the cutting mat and we're gonna cut this into 4 segments. Now, if you are concerned that you're not gonna get this exactly right, let me show you the trick. You can go ahead and fold this both ways, and then you will have your lines to cut on in your interfacing. If this doesn't press as well as you want it to, you could definitely hit this with your iron, and that will help you out as well. But all right, and we're just going to cut down the center both ways. And you can line these up and cut them at once, or you can do them one at a time. I'm actually going to do them one at a time. Now we have our 4 little pockets, and you may be wondering, what are you doing with this? Well, I'll just wait until you see what we're going to do with these on our placemats. It's going to be awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our 2-point turner, and we're going to turn these out, get that edge really nice and smooth, and then we're going to do a little top stitch across that curved edge. Now, if you've watched my applique videos, then you know that this 2-point turner is made by Clover, and it's really good for turning shapes, even if they're not closed on one side. So that will give us that nice little edge. Now you could definitely go ahead and press this if you wanted to before you sewed it, but I feel like that's gonna work pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a whirl. And I am pressing against the interfacing side of this seam. Aren't these little fans so cute? I'm so excited about this project, you guys. The real cool thing is that it doesn't necessarily have to be the most perfect block ever. It's still going to look so cute on your placemats. Now, I will say, if you do have some spots in your block that are a little worse for wear, I would definitely go ahead and mend those a little bit, do a little stitching or something on them just to make sure they stay in pretty good shape, because you don't want any little snags and stuff on your table. All right, so now that those are all turned and the seams are pushed out, just going to line up these edges. And I'm going to run a little top stitch right along the top of this curve. I'm just using my presser foot as the guide, honestly. Probably at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and chain piece all 4 of these through. I'm going to increase my stitch length because I am going to go ahead and run like a little basting stitch down. I did this because I wanted to increase that stitch length, right? So I didn't do it at the same time because I wanted to be able to do a longer stitch, and I can still go ahead and chain piece all of these through that way too. And that's just going to keep those 3, well, 5 layers together. All right, so here are our little quilt block pockets for our placemats. And this is going to go in the lower corner of our placemats, and that way you can tuck your little napkin in here. Cute, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is just kind of baste our placemat layers together. And I'm going to use a 3.6 stitch length, so I really am just basting them. And I'm going to get about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And I'm just going to go around the perimeter of the 3 layers. I have, and these are all, this is like how the placemat is going to look. So you want your right sides out, and you want your interfacing layer in the middle of the sandwich. It looks like I didn't cut my interfacing quite the right length, so I'm going to trim this off real quick. And that's one good advantage. You know, if your layers aren't quite exactly the same, you can definitely trim them down so they're all even, and you want them even before you do this next step. So I've just cut some 2.5-inch strips. It's basically like binding for a quilt. So I'm just going to attach this binding and make sure I get my stitch length back to 2.4 instead of 3.6. That would be way too long for binding. And we're just going to attach it to the back side of our placemat. Now my front and back are the same color, so I'm not, you know, it doesn't really matter which side's which at this point. When you get to the corner, just like when you're binding a quilt, you're going to stop about 1/4 inch from the corner before you turn. Make that little V that we are all aware of when you're binding. Put it back down. 1/4 inch in again, and continue on around your placemat. So I'm going to do all 4 sides, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to get that cute little pocket in the corner. I'm just sewing the 2 ends of my binding together just so I can finish the round. Didn't leave myself too much of a tail, so it's a little tricky, but we'll get it done. Learn from my mistake. Leave a little bit more of a tail there for you to get those ends together. All right, so this is the back of our placemat. We're going to flip it over. And now when I'm setting a table, I like to put the napkin on the left hand, and you could obviously put your fork in there too. These would be great for if you're doing a dinner party outside too on the patio. That way the napkin doesn't blow away on you. So I'm going to start right over about here. I'm just going to bring that over. And then we're just going to finish this off by flipping the binding over just like you would on a quilt. If you need help on this method of binding, I do have a video on the channel, so make sure you check that out. Okay, I'm going to stop right about there because this is when I'm going to grab my little napkin pocket. And I'm going to put it right down here in the corner. How cute is that going to be? Oh my goodness, so fun. And then that binding is going to go right over the top of it. Now this is, okay, so I chose not to do a stitch and flip placemat for these because this quilt layer is so much thicker than my other part of my placemat that it would really kind of make it kind of bumpy and lumpy in this corner. When you turned it, that seam would not lay flat for me. So I chose to do the binding around the placemat and put this little pocket in here when I'm sewing it in, just to make sure that this is nice and smooth and lays flat on my table. I know I've made some quilted placemats in the past, and they don't really lay as flat as I wanted because I put batting in them. So I really have chose to use interfacing for my placemats now, just because it's just a lot flatter, right? All right, so now if you want, and I would probably recommend, I would definitely go ahead and follow this little line from the lower edge here, the little top stitch that you did before. I would follow that up to right about there, just so this doesn't fall out. So we're going to do that. And I'm just following that line up. And we'll do a stay stitch there just to reduce the amount of thread bulk we have in that look. You can't even hardly tell. I went right over that line again. You can hardly even tell that I did that. But now you have a nice little pocket for your napkin. And now the last thing I'm going to do, and this is totally optional, I'm going to run a couple stitching lines up and around just to mimic this pocket, just to give my placemat a little interest. Now this is totally optional, this is totally up to you. You don't necessarily need to put any quilting in this, but if you wanted to, this is one idea for you. Now I'm gonna move my stitch length out to about 3. And this is really going to be kind of an eyeball for me. You can definitely measure it out, or you could use a walking foot, and then you would have a little line over here that you could set. And that way it would be for certain the same all the way around. But I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, go a little slower than I normally would. And this is kind of like I think it's like a Baptist fan look. Now you could also do this with colored threads, and then that would be really pretty as well. I'm just going to stick with this tone on tone. I want my little vintage block to be the focal point on these. And I am using a stay stitch to begin with, just because I don't want that back stitch. Let me press this just a little bit, and then I will reveal it. Here we have our sweet little vintage quilt upcycled placemat project. Boy, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? But this is so fun how you have this little pocket over here to tuck your little napkin, and you have a nice big placemat for your table with a nice finished bound edge, and then you have this sweet little vintage block in the corner just waiting to wow your guests. This was such a fun, quick little project. Now, obviously, I have 3 more to make before I can set my table, but I hope this inspired you to look at some of your vintage quilts and decide if any of them could be upcycled into a home decor item like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you picked up some tips and tricks, and I hope you enjoyed watching a vintage quilt turn into something new. Until next time, find joy in all you do, carve out some time for crafting and creating, and remember, it's always better when you make stuff up.